echo ban that they throw at Gaming Alliance, and that is good because both Realistic and Schmiegel played it, so could have been a possible flex for them.
They are gonna take that away as Talia taken away from Oli 5. Not taking away his Hecarim. We haven't seen him play Talia in the Open Tour yet. Not this weekend yet. Not at least the previous game, which was their first and only game this weekend. But we haven't seen him play it last weekend either. We know he likes to play it. We know it's one of his most played champions these last couple days and weeks in the preseason and the season. The start of the new season, as they take away Silas from Realistic as well. Not going to be able to play his two favorite champions. Once again, touching on the fact Hecarim is open. Oli has played a mean Hecarim in a lot of his games, so it could very well be that they give him the Hecarim again, as GA is going to be looking for their first pickup, looking to the Graves, looking to lock in that carry jungler for themselves.
They are trying to trigger some PTSD in this KVM Academy squad, of course, from their last game against Iron Squad, who had, let's say, a really, really mean Tidus with his Graves, doing all kinds of naughty things. On the Rift, the question is Schmiegel as good with these Graves as Tidus? They might go again for Hecarim here, but of course Oli just had, I wouldn't say a bad game, but a rough game on Hecarim. So you might want to play something fresh this time around. They go for this Pantheon, which is a great flex. If you go for this early in the draft, you can send him support, you can send him mid, you can send him top, you can even send him jungle. So you can put him everywhere. But of course, Oli going for this Nidalee this time around, that will definitely be in the jungle, which means that they do need a lot of CC setup for this pick to work. And yeah, piling it up with the Pantheon, who just has this click on stun, is already a great start of this draft.
Yeah, Nidalee also one of Oli's big picks. Has the Talia, has the Graves, has the Nidalee, and as Talia gets banned, Graves gets picked against him. The Hecarim was open, but his Nidalee is pretty darn nifty, as they do pick that up for him. And as you said, Pantheon, very flexible pick. Can go top, can go mid, can go support, can go jungle. Basically anywhere that isn't in the bottom lane AD carry position. Probably even there if you would be really fancy and weird. Could go there. Not expecting that to happen. Aatrox gets picked up. A fighter top laner. Something that Righteous likes to play with things like a Trundle, a Darius, a Gnar Volibear in his repertoire. Aatrox fits in there quite nicely. And also Karma being picked up. Flex pick as well. Could go mid, could go support at this point.
And the Wukong is still up. If Pantheon doesn't go to Mortar, he could potentially pick the Wukong up, because it's not a bad matchup for him in this Aatrox. He can just jump on him, making sure that his first two Qs are basically useless, because he's on top of him, and then he can just mimic out for that third smack, and those trades can go in his favor quite well. But of course, then Gaming Alliance need not to ban this monkey right away. Gate ban coming in, which is a big mastery champ for Dermot, but he hasn't been playing it a lot lately. Caitlyn, of course, not being that wanted as well in the high games at this point, so don't think they were going for that anyway. And it does look a little bit like Gaming Alliance is mimicking the comp from Iron Squad from last game, because they go for those shields, those speed ups, for the Graves, they want to buff him. This time around, KVM Mechelen isn't going to put all his eggs in one basket, because at the moment they do have 3 threats already in the damage department. The question is, what are they going to put in this front line? Are they going for the Shen again? Going for the Alistar again? Because yeah, Bisco, he just really wants to play that cow time and time again, or he's being put on Alistar duty, we don't know. But we'll definitely see a front line coming out on that side.
And a lot of I was gonna say a lot of mid bans going out with Leona being open for Bisco, but damn it, they banned it away. Now they are hovering a lot of supports here, basically every support left in the game. Looking to maybe go Yumi, not expecting that, looking for or something along the lines of a Nautilus, something engage heavy, maybe set with that Hex Slash. It is going to be a Nautilus eventually for Bisco as they wait for their mid laner to be picked up. And as I said, Realistic being banned and picked away. They banned Anivia themselves. Then on the other side, there's Echo ban, Silas ban, Syndra ban. Pantheon is one of his champions that he likes to play as well, but has been picked up. Basically, what he has left is Katarina. Yep, that's it. He has Katarina left, and then against the Katarina, they have the Pantheon. Instant
Well,
stun.
he does play Ryze as well, but turns out he will either be the
ooh.
Karma or the Seraphine, because that is also very flexible between support and the mid lane, both providing a lot of utility.
That's
for
gonna
his
be
team.
double Moonstone build. On the Karma, probably Moonstone. On the
You know
Seraphine,
what we say
probably
to double
Moonstone.
Ew.
Not. Ew. And then there's even more shields here from the Orianna. Graves is gonna be the one to look out for here. If Schmeagol on this Graves gets ahead and gets all the shields that they have in their team, or even Aatrox can get so much movement speed, so much shields on top of his face that he's gonna be really hard to kill. If he gets the Gore Drinker, pops his ult, heals on top of that himself, it's gonna be scary if the Aatrox or the Graves or both basically get ahead on the side of Game Alliance Red here. On the other side, we have Lucian mid, so quite a lot of AD damage on the side of KVM Academy. If Nidalee somehow gets behind, then he can go pretty tanky on the Aatrox here. Of course, that's the only champion that can go half tanky. The other ones are all supports and damage dealers, as it's a Seraphine bottom lane with a Karma. They're not going to die. And then Orianna. So yeah, how do we take down Seraphine and Karma? If, I mean, that's like, what was it again? Sona Lux, I believe it used to be last season.
Yeah, or Derek Soda.
Yeah.
That a comp as well?
They just didn't die, and basically Seraphine Karma is the same idea. You don't die.
Well, you need a lot of damage to take them out, and if you look at this
lot of
KVM
burst.
comp that they drafted now, they have a lot of damage. They have a lot of CC, they have a lot of setup, they have a lot of damage. So they can take them down, but they will only have one shot, because of course you do have all those shields that pile on all of a sudden, and also the resistances, because of course Graves, he gets armor from his quick draw with the grid, and you have the Orianna that gives you resistances with the shield as well. So it can be scary how tanky this champion can get when you combine all of that. But there is so much setup possibility in the early game again for them, because you have Pantheon, who is just such a strong laner, so easy to gank for Nidalee, because you can just stun into the spear, and it's a free kill basically. So I'm expecting Ollie to visit Mortar a few times. Mid lane will be harder to gain. Normally Jerry should have pressure there with the Lucian, who is of course so strong in this 1v1 matchup with a caster. And then Samira Nautilus. Yeah, Samira is basically an assassin, so they can easily get on the Seraphine. Should be able to have some threat there. So if they can get a lead early, then all those shields and heals will mean so much less, because they have the damage to kill them.
They have quite a lot of bursts. I really like the Lucian pickup as well into the Orianna. Good matchup for Lucian. Can dash out of a lot of Orianna damage, can dash out of the ult, can dash out of the early game poke if he has to. Of course, poke gonna be on a way lower cooldown, but still main poke, and can be dashed away from. He can engage himself with his dash. So a good match for Lucian there. I'm really interested to see what Ollie is able to do on this Nidalee. We've seen him on the Hecarim, where he just goes in for the engage, he goes in for the backline, looking for a setup for his team to actually go in with him. Now he's Nidalee. Now he needs to look more. He needs to be more picky. He needs to find the spear. He needs to find the pounce, the takedown. Gonna have a lot of burst, and of course against a team that is as squishy as GA is right now, he has the possibility to do that. However, once again, lots of shields, lots of burst survival, and once again expecting Graves to possibly go for the Immortal Shield Bow, giving him burst survival as well. You're gonna have to be careful that they don't overcommit onto one of these GA champions and then go down themselves.
I hope they learned from their last game and buy grievous wounds very, very early in the game. I basically want to see it on almost every champion here because you can get 2 executioners, 3 executioners even on the Pantheon. And an Oblivion Orb, it's not expensive. You do not need to buy that full Morellos anymore, so they really gave some options to go for in these games. So if they play it like that, then they should be able to counter it early enough and win these fights, because it's so easy to fall in that trap from I'm gonna buy damage and I'm gonna burst them, and then eventually you get out healed and out shielded, and it didn't matter. In this game even, you have a possibility to buy one of the new items, which name I cannot remember. There is a new item that lets you do extra damage on shielded targets.
Ah, yes, Serpent's Fang.
That one.
That's
that
the one.
would be a great pick in this game. You have the Orianna shield, you have Seraphine shield, and you have Karma shield.
Who's gonna build it
I
though?
mean,
Pantheon?
who won't you build it on? You have 3 AD damage dealers. Why wouldn't you build it on them?
Because I don't know, because it's lethality, and maybe you don't want to build lethality on Samira and Lucian per se.
I think in this context, that would be great, because you even have the Graves with the shield bow probably. Oh, if he doesn't go for Gale Force, of course. But there are potentially so many shields that the value of that item is going to increase
Substantially, yes.
But of course, are they going to do this? Are they going to think out of the box? Because I can't think of any game that I've seen that item yet. But in this game, that is so much value for that pickup. So we'll have to see if KVM Mechelen is gonna show us that you can vary your build depending on the situation.
No crazy runes yet seen here on the loading screen between these two teams. Skin-wise, you have to give it to GA, winning here.
Oof. Of course, GS Meagle with
Pool Party Graves.
Pool Party Graves, just such a boss. He's a boss. He just has the
Takes
sunglasses on, the Riot logo with the punch in your face on his super manly chest. I mean, that guy is coming for you and he's gonna water gun all over you.
Yeah, and they have the color scheme with Mecha Aatrox, then Darkstar Orianna, Seraphine, and Darkstar Karma. So all basically the same color scheme. Pool Party Graves, clearly the captain of the squad. And KVM is just grey. And boring.
Yeah, there is no consistency there, so might be something for the coaches to pick up in their next draft.
Very much.
At least get some cohesion in your skins. That being said, we are going into our second game of today, of this open tour, week 2, with KV Mechelen Academy going head-to-head with Gaming Alliance Red. Both lost their first game, so one of these teams will potentially pick up their first one in this groups phase, and it's important because if you lose this one, you're 0-2, and the chances of you getting out of this group stage into the best of 16 is very slim.
Both teams running here onto the Rift, as I will welcome everybody onto the Rift with them. They are looking for a potential late invade, maybe a counter invade, expecting KVM to come in with that Nautilus invade, possibly looking for an invade themselves, but it doesn't look like they will be doing that. They've set up the Great Wall of China once again, Italy placing a ward, going back for that sweeper, and starting on the bottom side of the map with her own blue buff, as Graves is gonna start running up top to his blue buff, and then decides to say, nope, I don't want my blue buff. He's stupid. I want my red buff.
And something we haven't really touched on yet is, of course, the fact that Gaming Alliance doesn't really have a designated front line. You can say, okay, yeah, we have Righteous on the Aatrox, but he's more of a flanking champion who wants to go in for that backline. Who is gonna throw himself in front of the Not Hook? Because, yeah, that's a question we'll see answered right here.
Ooh.
I mean, wow.
The late invade from KVM backfires pretty hard as they take a boatload of damage. And now Nidalee is going to be set behind quite a lot. going really low here, actually using one of her pots. It's gonna be able to just farm up her jungle any ways here. It doesn't really matter. Gonna have a little bit of a late start against the Graves maybe, but should be fine all together. And who's gonna catch this Nautilus hook? I don't know. I don't know if it even matters. I think both Graves and Aatrox can jump in front of it, preferably Aatrox, who then gets a billion shields and survives. Anyways, with his ult and Gore Drinker, he should be fine. Of course, if they do find the hook onto Seraphine here pretty early on, they don't have the survivability yet. Even Key Craftsman going low, and look at that! Wow, KVM knowing what they have to do early on, winning that trade. Easy.
That's what I mean. You do not want to catch that hook, and later on, okay, they kind of forge their own front line with all the shields and the heals, but still, the target doesn't have much resistance, so the value of those shields and those health bars aren't that big as you would have had on a tank that does have those items. So might be scary for that one-shot potential, because you can also see Mandrago, again, as he was on the Kai side, he is playing Samira now, who is sort of an assassin as well. Has the potential to jump on you, instantly start slapping your face all around. And if they manage to get this wave pushing towards them in the bot lane, on the side of KVM, then they can zone them fully, because the engage is so easy with Seraphine not having a flash now. It's super scary. However, we did saw their combo in the jungle. The bind into the mantra from Karma is pretty scary.
Yeah, if they get CC'd on their behalf, they could take quite a lot of burst, which could be possible later, of course, with that ultimate on Seraphine, followed up by a shockwave collateral damage. Aatrox jumping in on the face. Could be a lot of damage being picked up there. As it looks like Mortar, he does get out of that, tries to do some return damage, not realistic, might be in trouble. Spear from Ollie coming through, look at the damage there from Lucian. Return damage, however, from realistic, gonna be decent as well. And now Mortar winning the trade here against the Aatrox inside his minions. No kills have fallen yet, however. But
the
with
health bars are low, but no kills are there.
Pretty
Jerry knowing that Ollie is in the wings here in the river. He's looking for
aggression.
a possible gank in the bot lane, because they are pushing. Maybe this is something. Schmiegel in the neighborhood as well.
Find the Bino Mindrago. Schmiegel is there, but KVM only finds the spear, hits that for first blood. Mindrago going really low, Craftsman going really low as well. They need one more auto attack. Look at the top lane, Righteous finding the 1v1 kill versus Mortar. He goes down there as maybe even realistic. Finding the damage, of course, Orianna's auto attacks doing quite a lot of damage as well. But first blood is for KVM. Second blood is a 1v1 kill in the top lane.
Mortar. The damage is scary.
Oh, the teleport from Mortar. Righteous was still there in the lane. Needs one more auto attack, one more Q. Mortar finds the damage, finds the return kill. And revenge tastes sweet. A dish best served cold, as they might be looking for a dive on Schmiegel here. They do have Kos on this Nautilus, of course. And it doesn't look like they want to do that. They're too low, they have no flashes, and they decide to yeet.
And there are a few things that we need to touch on in this fight in the bot lane. Of course, Schmiegel saving Key Craftsman's life there with the smoke screen, because it was one auto attack away, but Ollie just couldn't see him. Couldn't land that last auto attack to finish him off. So he owes him one so far. And meanwhile, top lane, Righteous getting a beautiful 1v1 on Mortar. Or maybe is this culling enough?
Oh, the culling might not be enough, but he's level 6. Orianna cannot do the return damage yet. And even the piercing light, Jerry does, however, go pretty deep, pretty greedy. And finds a flash, finds a piercing light, takes a turret shot, is going to be enough. The Scorch is going to be enough together with minion damage. He goes really deep on this Orianna, finding the kill eventually for a return kill, basically. They both just pick up one.
Yeah, it's a good pickup for Jerry, but of course when you trade in a lane that you need to put the pressure on and win, then that is kind of worth for Orianna on this part. You know, you do not want to give that gold back, because we all know what a monster it becomes. And meanwhile, Mortar taking so much damage, a little bit late with his shield wall as well. going very low now, and even if they get a gank here from Oli, I believe Mortar is very much dead in every scenario. He even needs to make sure that it doesn't get dove here by Righteous. Core Aatrox
Nidalee is
champion
there.
that has that potential in his face. Oli in the wings, if there would be some shenanigans going on. There he goes.
Ooh, and that's the dive here from Righteous. He finds it eventually with the slashing,
Oh, the
with
healing.
Molly's there. Should be able to take this down. Flashes the... Oh, this is
No.
not going to be good.
Oh,
Finds the heal, the double kill for Aatrox. And we talked about this. If Aatrox or Graves gets ahead, then he can run into KVM. He can get so many shields and just not die, not go down, heal himself. This can go very wrong for KVM if they continue to do so. But then the global hook is going to come through onto Derma. The exhaust coming down as well. Top of the ignite from Nautilus. It should be enough for them to survive. And once again, going in here in the middle lane with the culling. Not going to be enough. It is enough. The final tick from the culling takes him down. Mortar, meanwhile, wants to defend his pink ward. But yeah, no. Righteous says, no, that's mine, dude. Go away. And Shmigo in a lot of trouble here. Should be going down as he does pick up the Drake. So, you know, all in all, it should be fine. Next Drake is going to be Cloud. So we could be looking at an Ocean or Mountain Rift here. As the first Drake does go towards GA.
Use this quick draw for those resistance and auto attack refresh, meaning he didn't have an escape anymore to get out of the pit, which is a pretty free kill there from Mandrago. 2-0 on the Samira. It's of course something you love to see when you are playing this assassin that has so much potential against these squishies. Meanwhile, that dive in the top lane, like Mortar, little mistake, using his stun there, like aggressively to maybe bait him going in with Oli in the side, but of course Righteous popping his whip, getting that kill very, very fast. And yeah, if you can't burst him down, this Aatrox, he will just keep healing once he's in the World Ender, and there is no stopping him. 3-1, and Righteous is a player. We've seen him before in Benelux in-house as well, being able to really dominate a lane once he gets ahead. So definitely scary, and we haven't seen Mortar struggle this hard in the open tour before, because usually he's this rock that really plays his lane sort or even gets solo kills himself. But this time, see the damage that Aatrox is putting on him. He is in so much trouble, and I don't think he would want to stay in this lane even. Maybe it's time for him to make some roaming plays with that global and just get out of this 1v1.
Hook in bottom lane goes wide as they try to find some damage there. 90 CS on Samira as opposed to 60 on Seraphine. So a big lead here for Mindrago already. However, of course, Seraphine and Karma not going to be the carries. They are going to have to boost their carries, help their carries with those Moonstone Renewers to enable the Aatrox and the Graves, possibly even the Orianna eventually. You know, to actually win the game for themselves. And at this point, 87 farm in the top lane for Aatrox. 30 ahead.
Good spear.
As they find a great spear onto Realistic. Once again, the culling. Good shockwave. Ollie taking the third shot. Jerry doing the same. They don't find the kill. But it does look like they push Orianna maybe out of lane as they find a hook. Find the ultimate onto Key Craftsman. Look at that healing. Look at that shielding. It's too much.
Of course, Mandrago wasn't there to follow up instantly on that hook. Really need to travel some distance. Of course, then you lose so much DPS on that pickup. Oli is in the bot side, but that does mean they can push so hard with this Herald, because Mortar are already struggling against the Aatrox. With Smigo's Graves there as well. It's gonna be a disaster now. They're trying something on bot lane.
Good ultimate there by Seraphine eventually, but is it going to be enough? Not at all, because Karma has already gone down. Spear goes wide. Meanwhile, top lane, however, they find 2 turrets, I believe, with their push. That is huge for GA Red, as kills are for the side of KVM. Oh no, Jerry is going to be taken down here. Doesn't have his dash, doesn't have his flash anymore. He had it, but he can't get away. Collateral damage finds him eventually. And another kill there for the combination of Aatrox and Graves, as they are both really strong at this point. And Oli at this point, a bit underwhelming.
And Schmiegel really playing this strong side top lane, following that lead. Good clutch hook there from Bisco, and it's not
Oh
over
no.
yet. Another kill from Mandrago. Can Righteous do something here?
It's a double kill for Mindrago here as he goes really deep. Righteous looking to pick something up for his team. Uses teleport there actually to go for that as Jerry going really hard onto Oriana here, but the shockwave gets them away. Now KVM going to take a bit of the momentum for themselves here. Drake spawning in 30 seconds. They do have priority here. However, it looks like Nidalee and Nautilus are going to look for a little bit of a reset. 30 seconds before Drake. Perfect timing, probably not. But maybe they do need that a lot. As Night Harvester is picked up for Nidalee, big power spike.
We have to comment realistic here, because he is playing a hard matchup against Solution. And he's getting a lot of visits from the other members of KVM Mechelen as well. And he's only 1-2. He's able to get some farm in, but he's not fading, which is something that you can so easily do against this champ. Meanwhile, they're trying something Righteous, but of course, he's a scary beast.
Oh, wow.
But he can't move.
Right, just click to move. Terrible joke. Right click to move. Righteous could not get out of that one. Gets hooked, gets smacked into the floor. And depth from below comes in. Nautilus once again in the mid lane, looking at Graves, finding the hook. Seraphine's ult goes completely wide, and now the Inferno trigger on 3 people. They decide to walk out of it. Pantheon with his drop comes in, finds the kill on Seraphine. A hook gets found onto Graves, and it's a double kill for Mortar, bringing him completely back into the game. 4 kills for Pantheon now. And if we look at the goal difference, it's still a big goal difference for Aatrox, but he does come into the game a lot more now with that extra double kill for him. As also the Drake went to KVM Academy. Big plays here. A lot of proactive plays here from KVM. A lot of aggression, finding the kills and finding objectives as well.
And Mandrago is really stepping up, because after last week, we looked at Mortar, we looked at Ollie. It was really their show all weekend long. Even though Mandrago and the rest of the squad really played solid as well. But now, last game he went in for the plays with guys, and now as well with Mandrago Samira is going so aggressive, trying to get those kills, solo, duo. He is the lead in this game. He's going for it, 4-0-3, really strong, and the guy to watch in the team fight as well. Because if he can get a good Inferno trigger on this lineup, from Gaming Alliance, he can just get a pentakill in one easy click of a button. I mean, they're not tanky at all.
They're not tanky, but once again, they have those shields, and of course, on top of the shields, they have a lot of CC as well. They can put down a shockwave, they can get a charm from the ultimate from Seraphine, they can get a bind from Karma and Seraphine. So there's a lot of things that Mindrago has to be careful of before he actually goes in. If he goes in with the Inferno trigger and then gets Seraphine ulted, he just dies. So he needs to be careful that that doesn't happen. Needs to time his ultimate and his dashes pretty well here. As, by the way, not spoken of yet, but we have an Ocean Soul, Ocean Rift.
Even more reason to make sure that you have those Grievous wounds going on for both teams, because we've talked about all the healing and all the shields and all the sustain that this Gaming Alliance composition has, but besides that, we have a Nidalee who heals, we have a Samira who almost always buys a lot of lifesteal, and Lucian will probably at some point get the Bloodthirster as well, so you do need those Grievous wounds on that side of the table as well. While Jerry being able to put some damage out on Righteous, who of course can't really go too deep with the turret still standing here. Jerry doesn't mind picking those trades, being able to dash out. Just let's make sure he doesn't get baited. As Realistic is gonna eat a spear and survive because of Schmiegel here.
Oh, Nidalee didn't find the bounce bench, but there's the hook. Global hitbox doesn't matter for Bisco. As he finds another engage, collateral damage gonna go wide. Nautilus, the CC on the side of KVM with Nautilus and Pantheon both on top of you is insane. If Nautilus finds a hook, or if Pantheon finds his stun, I mean, there's not a lot you can do there, as the Kraken Slayer in the bottom lane Righteous was really strong, really far ahead now. Oli going pretty deep, finding it eventually with Mindrago. He's going to find double kill, 6, 0, and 3. Immortal Shield Bow, of course, complete. And now, by the way, I have to give props where props are due. With the Serrated Dirk and the pickaxe, it does look like Mindrago is going for Serpent's Fang.
See, that just makes me so happy to see that we are getting stream sniped. No, the props to him. If he actually buys it, yeah, that's just a great adaptation to this game. Because the item does have value in these very niche situations where the enemy is just high on shields.
High on
which is
shields.
definitely happening here.
Dude.
And you just spoke about all the CC that this comp had, and what we said in Champ Select as well. When you pick the Nidalee, you need this because it's so easy to do this burst damage on a single target. Because you lock him up, you hit the spear with the Night Harvester, which is so much damage. And then you can just go for the execute, because they all have so much damage on the side of KVM that it's too easy to follow up on each other's plays. And when you have 16 kills against 5, you can see that it is working as well. You can't just say, yeah, that's nice in theory, but in practice it doesn't work. But no, it works. They are dying. And taking all the vision here for this next Drake, first Ocean of the game. Don't think that Gaming Alliance is even gonna come close to contesting this one.
And Righteous was 3-1-1, now 3-3-1. Basically just died twice. Which, you know, good job by KVM finding the strongest member of GA and you know, taking him down a notch, a peg or two, and finding the kills onto him, finding the shutdown, of course, and giving their team a little more breathing room as Righteous does go really hard. It is going to be enough, not at all. It's a 1v1 kill, solo kill there, as Nautilus hooks the wall, does find the death from below eventually on Karma, but here the shields and the heals are going to come through. Is it going to be enough? She is going to survive this as Mortar goes down. Eventually another hook is going to be found on Graves. He's not going to go down. There's too many shields and too many heals on the side of GA as they look for even more damage. The spear just going to go wide, and it's going to be a kill for GA as a return kill for the Aatrox going down a couple seconds before that.
Yeah, and that is the risk that you take with fighting against the comp from Gaming Alliance here. They get a good pickup on Righteous because of a beautiful sidestep from Jerry on the Infernal Chains, else it might have been different, could have healed up, but wasn't able to. And then they just see this target from Gaming Alliance so low, they think I'm gonna jump in, I'm gonna kill him. But don't forget, they have a million shields and heals. He might look so low, but he isn't really that low.
Yeah,
So
that's what we
be able to finish him.
that's what we talked about before, right? That KVM needs to be careful that they don't over commit onto a target, because they won't go down as quickly as you would think. Oftentimes you say, oh, this guy's low, let's go for it. But then suddenly he's full HP because of shields and heals. And then you're there with your Billikes blood.
With your Billikens blood.
Then you're there with your, you know, with your face between a rock and a hard place. And then there's not really a lot you can do as KVM does start this Baron buff. It doesn't look like GA has any idea really that this is going on. They're nowhere near on the right side of the map. They're just going to be able to take this for free. Karma is running there. Gonna, you know, Karma just taking a little bit of a stroll, thinking they might be doing it, but probably not. As KVM, well, that's a free Baron if I've ever seen one.
21-minute Baron there for KVM. A really early pickup for them and a great play to make in their position, because of course they do have almost 10k gold lead. And that is the moment that you need to show, okay, we can close this game out in a good pace. You don't need to stall necessarily because you have the lead now, but once you go into the later stages of the game, those shields, those heals, they will get more and more obnoxious. Even though you do have 280 carries on your side, which is always nice for scaling into the late game. When you're ahead, you want to make sure that you that you use that lead to finish the game quickly, and that's exactly what they're gonna do now with this Baron buff. Not sure how this Gaming Alliance lineup will react. They are going for the engage.
They're looking for an engage. Pantheon should be looking for his ultimate anytime soon. There it goes, there it comes in. Look at the damage. There's so much shields and heals though, but they find one eventually. KVM loses their carry in Mindrago, but is it going to be enough for GA? Not at all. As there's a triple kill for Ollie. We said Ollie was slacking a little bit in the early game, but now he's 5-1-5 with his team being able to pick up the kills, finding the damage, finding the spears and the pounces. And now with this Baron buff and the Baron up, I was going to say minions, but it's only one. There's only one Baron up minion here, and they should be able to... Well, they don't take down this turret, as Hex Flash from Nautilus is used to get out of that one. Now with the wave in bottom lane, we're going to start pushing on that side of the map.
That was a very convincing team fight for KVM. They pretty much rolled over them. Of course, you are engaging on a team that has so much more gold than you. These items really are clocking in, and I'm a little bit disappointed because we do not see the Serpent Fang. We're seeing the Collector. Didn't happen this game around.
It could come now though. He has another pickaxe.
It's probably gonna be the IE because he has a BF sword as well. So
damn it.
I don't get my hopes up, but you know, we can't really blame anyone because they're definitely stomping this game. So you can say, yeah, if they bought Serpent's Fang, they could have won even harder, because I'm not sure if that is possible. At this point, meanwhile, Jerry might be in trouble. No, never mind. He is just cruising, culling through this blue side jungle, and means there is no world ender. Their last bit of front line for Gaming Alliance is gone, and they're still running into the base with these Baron up minions. Might be able to siege this bottom side inhibitor.
Not only is it that they might siege it, they actually fully will siege it. The spear, I think, connects. They find a great shockwave here onto two of the enemy carries. The woohoo! Seraphine ultimate actually connects onto Mindrago as well, meaning that Ollie and Mindrago both go down here. They find the inhibitor turret, but not the inhibitor. Great shockwave there by Realistic, setting up the rest of the CC, and two carries go down on the side of KVM.
The communication between Gaming Alliance was a little bit late, because of course the ult from Seraphine coming in tiny tad late, but we still get the pickups. Now Righteous going too deep, getting picked up by Jerry, which means that their fight was still good because they didn't lose their bottom hit, but it could have been better for them, as the Ocean Soul will be up soon. And that of course means that besides the Baron, this KV Mechela squad will start healing like crazy, and I can't really see any healing reduction on the side of Gaming Alliance, so that will be a big problem for them.
Yeah, that's not gonna come yet. They're of course gonna wait until that Ocean Soul actually drops. Imagine you buy all this healing reduction and then you pick up the Ocean Soul for yourself, and you just wasted a lot of gold on your side of this map. So they're not going to go for it quite yet. Of course, chances are that KVM will be picking up this Ocean Soul. Spear is not going to connect. Craftsman being able to walk out of that one. No sweat.
On the forehead.
On the forehead. As they look for a hook here. Whoa, okay, that Spear connects more than half HP on Karma this time. As KVM is going to start pushing top side. But Pantheon is going to start pushing the bottom lane here. Once again, Spear connects half HP on Smeagol's Graves. Not going to be happy about that one. More spears being chugged here by Oli. Culling going down as well. Another spear connecting. It's like shooting fish in a barrel right here, boys.
This Oli reminds me of the time I got one-shotted by a Nilly spear. 100-0.
Lovely.
It makes me sweat. Realistic losing 55% of his HP, and also their bottom inhibitor. So I can safely say that this game is over. Of course, you always have the 1% that you get a 5-man Shockwave into a 5-man Seraphino to do everything, but we'll see if they are able to pull that off. Normally, KV Mechelen should not hand over this game anymore. And Baron is spawn soon, so they might rotate to this objective.
And looks like GA wants to go in for an engage here. Great Shockwave, great Charm there by Seraphine, both connecting. And they find Mindrago, and that's the big carry on the side of KVM going down. KVM finding the return kill into GA Righteous, who, of course, is their basically only frontline at this point. 1-for-1 trade eventually. And another great Shockwave there by Realistic.
So we spoke about the 1%. It's not that, but they do get the carry that they need to take down, which is Mandrago, of course, who's 7-3 now. And if they can pick up that target, then it's all on Jerry to pick up the role as carry, of course. You still have the Lily Spears and everything, but against a squad that has so much heals and shields, the damage doesn't really stick for long. And looks like they are still going to be able to pick up this Baron for free.
Again.
Even though they had a good engage on them in the mid lane. So it didn't really hurt them. Have the Baron, they can shove towards the base and then rotate, or even go immediately towards that last Ocean Dragon for the soul. And doesn't really feel like Gaming Alliance is getting any closer to closing this lead. They are very scared to go in the jungle because, of course, who are you going to face check with? Who wants to catch that Nautilus hook? That's been a problem for the last 30 minutes.
Looks like Gaming Alliance not really caring about these Barons at this point. Ocean Soul is gonna be spawning. Drake number 4 for KVM Academy here could be down very well and very soon. 10 seconds on this next dragon spawn, as GA, of course, moving around this side of the map as well. They are going to be spotted out by some wards. Spear is going to be chugged out again, as Pantheon pushing into the top lane with that Baron buff right now. Both teams looking to pressure here and looking to maybe fight and engage.
KV doesn't need to do anything. They are taking it there, but they get the hook.
They find the hook, but another great Charm Shockwave. Can they find the damage eventually? Calling from Lucian is going to come through. Is it going to be enough? Mortar is there with the TP. The burst is enough. Triple kill for Mindrago. This is what you spoke about before. He can very easily get a multi-kill with the press of a button, and it's going to be a quadra kill. However, look at the healing from Righteous. It's not going to be enough, as it is going to be another kill there. Quadra kill, ace for Mindrago. And this is not only the Ocean Soul, the ace, and the quadra kill, but this is gonna be game for KVM. It was harder than expected. They were really far ahead, but a couple of good shockwaves, good follow-ups by GA Red kept the game alive for them. However, it was not enough, as KVM is gonna close this one out after taking the Ocean Soul in the quadra kill with an ace, picking up their first game of this group phase, going 1-1. And the next game is going to be vital for KVM to go through to the round of 16.
What a game. I mean, KV they played it so solid, but you can see the power of the draft from Gaming Alliance, especially at the end. Like, they're fighting against a team that has a 10k gold lead over them, and still that engage with the Shockwave into the Seraphine ult, it looked so scary. Like, Samira was caught there, and if she died, it was a game. It was a fight won for Gaming Alliance. So it was very close, even though the 10k gold lead, but still KV Mechelen. And a great performance by them really showed that they can make the snowball happen and transition it into objectives, into a game win, because they got all the Barons uncontested. They basically only needed to fight for one Drake, and that was the last one that ended the game. And yeah, again, for me, MVP definitely going to Mindrago. He's playing so solid for these 2 games, and I can't wait what he's gonna show us in this third game of the day.
Yeah, Mindrago played a really strong game. However, if we do look at the damage graphs, it is Jerry who by far does did the most damage on the side of KVM, and even Aatrox topping Mindrago here in this game. I have to give props to Jerry, of course, playing a matchup that is Lucian favored, but also have to give props to Bisco, who had some great roams, had some great hooks. That early hook at level 1 even basically